Peace to everyone. I still have yet to upload the videos of the most recent Scottish games in Seaside Highland Games in Ventura, but I will show you guys some of this. So this is the Law of Battleon or hand stick knife insignia. My friend Robin Price is the Grandmaster, one of the two Grandmasters and founders of the system, where they combine Celtic and Native American martial arts. And so we're all friends with Robert Redfeather of Apache Knife, who also has been trying to introduce other Apache weapons, which is pretty cool. In preparation for this event, I'd made a bunch of children's size Targes. And there's a lot of 3/8 plywood and things like that I was using. Some 1/2 inch. Made a couple out of 3/4. I try not to use 3/4 because it gets to be on the heavy side. But this is my son's. The reason I know that is because there's this imperfection in the wood, but that's what he carried with him at the games. He also carried this dirk, which is one that I made a couple years ago. And the wood is actually from oak, sourced from my mom's oak tree from the house I grew up in. And so there's a sort of provenance to this special, and he got to wear it. And so, yeah, I made a bunch of these shields. This one actually came from the first batch I finished, but I kept it for Michael. But I gave Robin some shields. They got very well used that weekend. Not damaged, but they got very well loved. And that was great. I still got a couple more. Well, I got a couple adult size Targes that are actually fully above 19 inches in diameter. And I'm keeping one for myself because it's 24 inches, and that suits me pretty well. Giving one to Robin, which is about 22 inches, I believe. I'll double check, but yeah. So I'm keeping a few of these child-sized shields. I gave him a bunch, but if he needs more at some point, I've got more. So, just kind of my contribution to the cause. I had a bunch of buckles that were left over from other projects, from my days doing leather work. I mean, I had a whole bunch of this stuff. I made these really cool scale gauntlets, and I had these straps with these nice square buckles, and I just they've been sitting around. Some have even gotten rusty because I had them stored badly at one point, and not heavily rusted. I mean, you can take aluminum foil and clean them off pretty easily, I think. But aluminum foil and water or Coca-Cola. But in any case, I used up some of those. I had some brass plated upholstery tacks that were sent to me by accident. They'd later sent me the right ones and didn't charge me for these ones, I think. That is what happened. But yeah. So I've been trying to get rid of those for years because I have too many of these plated ones. So yeah, I'm kind of using them on the shields. But yeah, I made some stencils of the Law of Battleon symbol. But I had to print up 4 different sizes because I had just so much variety in the size of shields. And so yeah, and then what I had to do is I spray painted the insignia, just the basics, and there were some imperfections, but I had to go over the rest of it by hand. And I mean, all the details on the hands and on the stick and on the knife, and even all the lines inside the circle, all that stuff had to be done by hand. The stencil that I made just wasn't quite cutting it. Is it perfect? No, it's definitely imperfect, but that's okay. But while I was at the games, Robin had one of these guys. It's basically the Apache War Club, but as a trainer. And I took pictures, and as I'm wont to do, I have a tendency to make my own stuff, and I try to make it as inexpensive as possible, but quality. And this is a design that somebody else had made, and so I found the right little squishy balls from the pet supply store, and I bought some red packs. I could have waited, but my son likes going to Home Depot, so I took him with me, and we bought a stick of the stuff. And I mean, since then I've acquired a bunch of PEX from these water heater jobs I've been doing, but swapping out PEX with copper. But in any case, yeah, it has some canvas. Some of this was actually used on all these shields. They're all canvassed, so it's not too hard to make. And I had some twine that I acquired from something else, and I use that to kind of tie it up. And it's just very basic, trainer. It's kind of fun. Michael and I have had a good old time hitting each other with these things because they don't really hurt. I mean, they're pretty, like, I mean, you feel it, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I just broke a bone, right? So yeah, I mean, you don't need protective gear to protect yourself from being hit by the ball. To be honest, the stick part's actually more dangerous than the ball, but we're not hitting hard. We're just having fun. But yeah, that's my boy's shield, and this is now basically his dirk. No edge on it though. I had to modify it from an existing, well, now out of stock Atlanta Cutlery blank dirk blade because I wanted to give it more of a point, and so I did. But in the process, I had to reprofile it, so now it's got a basically a flat edge most of the way across. So it can still be sharpened, and it might be someday. But for now, I'm going to keep it as a blunt. It's still got a pointy tip on it, so you got to be careful with that. But no sharp edge. But yeah, so some of the stuff was there. Like this was at the games. That I had to finish painting the following week just because I was already on a roll, and I was already late getting all these things painted. With everything that's been going on in my life, I've been trying to, get projects done. It's kind of my service to the cause. It's sort of my, it's good for the soul to make things and to do it for a worthy cause. I think that the Scottish Games, I think that the martial arts, I think Law Bottle On, I think all of it's worthy cause. And so I'm more than happy to make the stuff and donate it, you know. So yeah, of course these clubs and the dirk I'm keeping for Michael and I, and I'll keep the shield too, just because again, having a couple of child-sized shields is good to have. The rest of them that I have, I'll hold on to in case they're needed, and eventually when the other ones, get beat up a little bit too much, I'll break the other ones out and hand them over, most likely. But yeah, it's these are fun. Now I would like to make an actual proper one of these. I've been looking into that, and Robert Redfeather has a he has one that's actually made with real stone and with leather, and it's got actual horsehair for the pommel here, and that's why it looks this way. It's because this is patterned from almost the exact same thing, which is patterned off of loosely off of Red's club. But I went on to the National Museum of the American Indian while looking up Muskogee stuff. I decided to look up Apache War Clubs, and yeah, it's kind of funny, but I mean, some of these things had leather covering the entire handle, and some just had like leather going to here, and it was like tied on with like beads and stuff. I'm not doing the beads. I mean, for me, I like cool looking stuff. Like I like doing Celtic knot work on my stuff. I love doing that. I love putting in the effort to paint my stuff, right? But for something I'd actually fight with, like, you know, it doesn't have to be the fanciest looking, but it's got to look cool and it's got to get the job done. Okay. I've never been super huge on having tons of beads and all that kind of stuff. It's cool. I know a lot of tribes have always been very big on beads, but sometimes less is more. That's kind of my take. It depends on what it is, though. So that's why I'm not going to do like beads on, like the top and bottom of my future authentic Apache War Club. I just got to find the right stone. I've been looking at, in the back of my mind, I've been looking at stones as I go to parks with my son, and uh, it's like once I find the right round stone or roundish, I'll go ahead and take that, or I'll go ahead and make an actual, real, properly constructed Apache War Club with better materials. Okay, but in the meantime, these are fun to beat around on, and so yeah, that's kind of what's going on here. Um, I'll upload this before I upload the Seaside Highland Games 2025 video or series of videos, because there's a lot of stuff I recorded. Um, but definitely fun place, definitely wonderful. My son loved it. He had a great time, and you'll see he had an absolute blast. And it's his first time going to the Scottish Games since he was like a 4-month-old baby, because then COVID happened. So a lot of great kids there. Made some new friends, got to reconnect with existing friends, and it was just awesome. So, and I got to play with weapons and get kids playing with weapons, and you know, with the single sticks, with the, just, it was cool. It was very cool. So, more of that in the future, but let me know what y'all think of these, and I will catch up with you later. Mado and Hadam Shi Chathlis.